G'day everyone, thanks once again for joining in on the construction process of the Brahmin. I've just finished lacquering him up with Penetrol and he is ready to go. So a common question I get is, what do I lacquer my pieces with? I use Penetrol. You can get them most hardware stores, you can in Australia. I find it lasts for about 6 months with most of my sculptures for an outdoor piece, and then you'll just give it a recoat. And yeah, it's very easy. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes to give it a full recoat. There's probably other products out there. I've found that one's the best for what I do. It's very easy to spray on, works well with the rust, really soaks in, and just finishes off the piece nicely. A piece this size will take about 300 to 400 hours. With the whole coronavirus and isolation, it was a little quicker for me. I found I just was able to spend a lot more time in the shed without distractions, which was nice. And yeah, I think it turned out just as good as what I was hoping. So here is the model figurine that I used to start with. This just gives me all the proportions and perspective of the piece that I'm doing. That way I can just balloon it up to the size of a Brahmin or a little bigger than a Brahmin, and that's how I get my perspective right. After that I'll generally get photos and pictures and drawings just to give me a bit more freedom with the piece I'm doing. So for those of you that are interested, I'll try and give you a little idea of some of the pieces I've used. Most of them I think you will know, others you won't. The ears, for example, these are an old chimney pipe that just worked in really well with the ears. The ears are humongous on these Brahmins. The hump here was a barbecue lid. It ended up being the perfect size for the hump with a few additions. You can see there I've added 2 anchor points to the top. That's welded internally into the chassis just to give it some extra strength and support, and that way it can be lifted from the top if the clients want to lift it from the top. The old plough disc, they're always popular. Plough disc. The ball bag here, these are back of headlights. They just work out to be the perfect circular shape, and you get 2 of them together, and I've used them quite often and they work perfectly. Here's a old water pump, cast iron, so they don't actually weld that well, but they leave this really cool stamp on them. Gears, bearings for ankles, and then obviously all the unanimous bits and pieces of tools, horseshoes, old springs, bearings for the eyebrow, the stainless steel eyeball, which is very important. More gears, and the cable here, which works well because you can bend it for the horns and the tail. You will also notice that I do use a bit of colour in my pieces these days. I try to keep the colour natural, so whatever colour's been on the old rusty tools or machine parts or whatever, I just find it really makes the piece pop and gives it something else to look at apart from the rust brown, which I also do like. So the reds, the oranges, the yellows all work really well. There might be a bit of green with John Deere green, some yellows, and yeah, that's